there, boys, girls, squirrels. My name is Modstab. Welcome back to Conan Exiles, or known as Exiles. Yeah. And last episode we talked about putting. I know there's some weird overhang and stuff that we're gonna have to work with and fix, and yeah, we'll get there. Don't you worry. But we talked about putting a temple around this glorious piece of watering hole right here that actually has water in it now, so it looks kind of nice. I don't know why we had issues before, but it works now. So we did that, and I have some inspiration, okay? First and foremost, I want to be able to use this as part of a wall because I think it's going to look really cool to try to build this as a wall for the temple. I think it's going to look really nice, and I'm excited. But I'm going to take inspiration from a already made structure in real life called the Temple of Horus, depicted right here. And back. Okay, I don't know how long I let that picture go, or if it's still going, or whatever. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take inspiration from that. Now, it's not gonna be exactly the same because we're working on a much smaller scale, ironically. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to fill this out, maybe give myself some, I guess, support beams and things like that around here. And then we'll make just a small exit on this side, right? Maybe we'll mirror it. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we'll mirror it and have gates on both sides. Who knows? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the foundation taken care of into the size of my liking. And after I do that, we're going to go ahead and jump cut to that point, and then we will see you when we get there. All right, so we do have our flying on, so we could take a little bit of a look-see here. However, all of the things that I'm doing in this, you can do without flying, and I'm actually doing so to test. It's much easier to get a cinematic view when you are this high in the air. Let's see if we can. Let's zoom in real quick. I got my fancy little jacket on. So we have 2 gates because I figured, you know what? After everything's said and done, why don't we actually just go ahead and make it look symmetrical, as even as possible, make it look nice. We might have to tailor off into the distance somewhere to get to this house, which we might be redoing, who knows. But we want to be able to have that walkway come here and kind of tailor down this and then move on from there. So now what we need to do is I'm going to go ahead and build the walls. Now, just like in the picture you saw, I kind of want to build the walls so that the main support area is ever so slightly taller than what the actual gate area is. And in order to do that, I think that I'm going to go ahead and do walls to try to see if maybe we can't get something even here with this gate. I'm not sure, but we will figure that out when we get there. So we're going to try to make the gate work. We're going to try to make it all look nice and pretty, and then we're going to go from there. So this is kind of what I have so far. We'll pop over this way once again to kind of get you guys a flying, like a point of view of all of this. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to do here. I'm thinking it may end up having to be ceilings, seeing if we can't kind of throw these one further over. If not, we'll have to square it away against the wall, which isn't the end of the world. I know that can be a little bit of a frustrating endeavor to try to build there and keep it even. But we got something like this, okay? And now you can see that we do have a little bit of a taller height here, and I think that's a good height, especially if we kind of get down towards like ground level. Like you see, it's got a pretty decent height. What we'll do is, since we have this gap here, I want to use this gap on the outside. I know my throat feels dry, whatever. I want to use this gap here on the outside to maybe do some pillars and things like that, create some depth and a lot of back and forward type motion. And that'll give us a really decent idea of what we're looking at for builds here. And then on the inside, I'll show you what we had to do. So what we did was we had all the brick facing outwards, naturally. But we got to this point where it wasn't cooperating. And so what I had to do was put a ceiling on the inside. And that allowed us to bring everything and square it off. So we have this nice square build in which we have all the brick facing outward. And it looks like one natural piece of building equipment. Let me go ahead and take a drink quick. Come on, get down. There we go. Now we're good. All right, and so what we're going to do is I'm going to replicate that on all sides. Now this one, symmetry is one of my favorite things in builds. However, I know that sometimes you just can't get it to work the way you want it to with these things here. So maybe we can do some overhangs and cool stuff in the future. But what I'll do is I'll take all the walls up so that they're that same height and that they're all 2 thick. Or 1 full block thick, and we'll continue once we get all that squared away, and I'll see you guys when we're back. So another jump cut down, and we're looking pretty good, but I wanted to showcase this because this is where I had to get a little more creative in order to do the walls. Now, what that does mean is I will be able to do what I want to do as far as inlaying everything here, and I had these here just for kind of placekeepers and whatnot, so we'll get rid of them. But essentially what I had to do, at least for this portion, get out of here, baby girl. We'll work on this in a minute. Okay, I promise. We'll be back. Don't you worry. Alright, now that we got those out of the way, I had to put pillars so that the pillars started by touching the ground, and then I would use those to kind of gradually climb their way up, touching the ground as they go. And what that does is that reestablishes a foundational point. Now what that means is I will, as inconvenient as it might seem... Oh, no you don't, little guy. No, you don't. Not on my watch. Perfect. Alright. Boom. Alright, so we're going to be able to bring this one out so that it looks as close to that initial one out there as possible. I don't know why it instantly goes to having the wood be the outward facing portion, but who knows? We got it. We're good. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and... Whoa, ooh, hey, look at us go. Alright, we're going to go ahead and finish this, just so we can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at here. Oh, did I not have the... Oh, there we go. I do have the dibbles. Alright, I got the outer face here. And what I'm going to do is I'll probably cap this all off with, like, ceilings on the top. Probably make it look nice. There we go. Alright, and so you actually have to kind of create this idea or this sense of having some type of structure, which is a fun little concept. It is. I'm not used to having to do that kind of stuff in games like this, so it's a nice refreshing change of pace. Now that last one, there we go, just to get that last little break in there. And voila. So now we are in a position where we have these nice walls, and they're beautiful and they're tall, and we're going to be able to use these walls now that we were using that technique of pillars and ceilings in order to kind of reallocate, I guess, some structural integrity. We're going to be able to use those to kind of cover over here towards the left side and make some cool stuff happen with this wall, maybe. Who knows? I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. But I just wanted to show that to you guys and kind of show how structural integrity has to work in the game. Because if I didn't have those pillars, I could only go out 1 or 2 more blocks from what we had initially here, as it just wouldn't work. So, with that set in mind, and now that we know how structural integrity works in Conan, we're going to go ahead and fill out these last couple walls, and then we'll go ahead and explain what the next idea for it is. Okay, so we have these walls taken care of, right? And you guys have seen the Temple of Horus, which I will link aforementioned picture here again. It actually is wide open, which I think would be crucial for a water source out in the desert. So instead of trying to say, wait a minute, we're just pumping from the earth, right? We want to collect rainwater as well, and in order to do so, we need to keep these available. Now, what I'm going to try to figure out here is how can we make some really cool pillars so that things kind of come together. I would love to be able to kind of round them off without having to use foundational blocks, but we'll go from there, and we will see how that's going to look. And in order to do so, I'm going to test it out on the front here. So give me a few minutes. You guys are going to see the jump cut, but I'm going to take a few minutes and figure out what I think looks best for the pillars. And once again, we are back, and I think this design lends itself pretty well to what we are going for. Now, looking back at the images myself, there was a little bit of an overhang here, and we're just going to stick flying because I need to expedite this process somehow. Now let's figure out how we're going to be able to do this to have it make sense. Now here's going to be the issue we're going to have with this. Is anything... I think anything technically speaking on this is always going to be fighting with whatever else we put out on it. So now we're definitely not going to be able to get rid of these guys. I want to try to figure out a way to get a cool little overhang Maybe we can put it on the, because we do have 2 full blocks in between them. So maybe what we can do here, we're going to get rid of these guys, these ceilings, right? I guess I could probably get rid of this one, right? Yeah, that one would fall. So what I'm going to try to do here is we're going to try to see if we can't maybe find a way to get the ceiling to work off of these blocks here. I don't know if we're going to be able to because it's going to have issues with, like, oops. It's going to create a bunch of issues with, yeah, overlapping textures and whatnot. What would be the best way to get an overhang taken care of here? We'll figure that out off camera. But I think those types of pillars lend themselves very, very well to not only that design, but I think we can do something here as well. So what we're going to do is, on this one, we're going to go every other one, just like we did out there. And once again, like I said, we're going to just stick with flying just for expediting the process here. All right. Now, do I have any more in my inventory? I don't, so I'm going to get more. An even exchange. So what we might have to do is rethink how and where we want these pillars. Let's get rid of this, guys. It'll be a quick job. And in order to divide that, there's not a good way to divide that up. So what we're going to do is just do it every 3 places. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right. And then worst case scenario, what that should leave us with is one singular spot in the middle where we can leave these 2 gaps open and then maybe do like a little patio or like a walkway out to kind of survey the land. I don't know. It'll be a good time. I don't know why I put these up here. Because what we've been doing it to this point, just to create a little bit extra level of depth and texturing. Let's get this guy out of here. And we should, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to, but we should be able to pop this guy in. Alright, we should be able to go straight across. And what I've been doing is actually just putting foundational pieces right on the top. Because it gives it a nice little texture change. It's got some inlays and things like that. And in order to make it look as nice as possible, we're going to get rid of you. We're going to get rid of you. And then to do the trick to Genos, boom. There you go. Now we should be in business. Perfect. We might want to destroy the walls underneath as well. I think that's what we're going to do. Oh, it's so hard to see. Hi, walls. Goodbye, walls. Alright, can I get the wall from this side? No. How about now? I think we're going to have to get rid of one. We're going to have to replace one of these foundations. Alright. So, we had some weird obstacle collision there. It just didn't look quite right. I actually don't mind this transition because it kind of creates that illusion of those being bigger, thicker, heavier pillars. And then we're going to go ahead and replace this guy as well. Well, oh! How quinky-dink. I'm going to... Yep, I just don't think this game likes me. Alright, there we go. And voila. Now we are in... Some of this stuff this game does. Now we are in business. So we have this nice little kind of like temple, like open concept temple foundation for water to flow in there. We do have some nice little pillars outside that make it look pretty decent. The last mission on the docket is me trying to figure out if there is a way for me to do some type of overhang or some way to kind of cover these portions right here. And I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting and playing around, and once I figure that out, we will be right back to Genos. We kind of got it as good as we can get it. The problem is it technically takes up 4 block spaces, it looks like. So in order for us to lay it perfectly even, like you have the center of the gate here, and so if you place it off the gates, it's kind of like in between blocks. But if you still want to fill these gaps in, you have to be aligned with the normal block spacing. So maybe you guys know tricks and tips that I don't know about tricking the game into building across the top of a gate after you've established something like this. Or maybe it's just a build order issue. Who knows? But that being said, we kind of got it the best that we're going to get it for what I'm looking to do. And so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and just show you kind of how I got that by staying in flight. So first and foremost, you got to build these bad boys all the way up. And you very specifically, we'll go ahead and make sure, perfect, that's facing the right way. So we're going to go up here, right? Now, the trick here is you do have to, I didn't want to, but you do have to go up one more than you'd like. Why? Because you have to put a ceiling up here, and then you can trick it, so to speak, into actually facing on that particular gap. With that being said, we do have some overhangs, and I think what we can do to kind of help this one work is we're going to do something like this. Okay, we're going to take all of these all the way over, right? And this will help a lot for replicating what design aesthetic we're trying to go for. But we'll take these guys here. We may... Nope, can't quite place off those. So what we'll have to do is... There we go. All right. And we'll do these on the inside. You know, and all things considered, this actually ended up being a much longer build than I thought it was going to be. But they always kind of do. So we're just going to start by building up here. From this point on, we're going to have to work on doing everything from top to bottom until it touches the ground. And then here. Oh, we're going to need one more there. And then we should actually need one on the very end. And so you're kind of replicating what you have going on outside. The reason that is important, okay? Let's go ahead and build down here. And that will actually help tie this one in together, because then we'll have an even amount of spacing on each side. So we'll go ahead and just do that. Perfect. So it helps kind of even out all that. But it does tie in the design aesthetic that we replicated on the outside back in. And so you kind of have this element of consistency. And now what we could do here is, once again, we could just get rid of this wall. There we go. And I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do, is we're going to just get rid of these walls. I keep forgetting that I had that there. Because I don't like the interaction those have without it. Oh, I need to get me some food. I think I have food in my inventory, yeah. There we go. Look at us go. Living the dream. We're going to go ahead and finish it off here as well. And then one more. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get these pillars taken care of, and then we can mosey on out of here. All right, and this should be the last thing. Now, if there's something else you guys want me to build in this particular one, feel free to let me know. I just know it has been an absolute blast to kind of... I don't think we're going to need it in the last one either. I really wish we could fix these gaps. Like, this drives me absolutely bonkers. But there's really not much you can do. It just sucks that that's the only one that's giving me issues. And maybe what we can try to do, let's try to be a little squirrely here. And by squirrely, I mean it's not going to work. Bummer. Bummer. Maybe we can do something, what do we got here? There we go. Well, I mean, that'll cover it. It'll be good, you know, I guess. All right. That works for me. Let's go ahead and finish this up on top here. And since those aren't going to be exposed to the outside, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Perfect. All right. So now we have this nifty little temple, which I need to fix these guys. Devin, good job. All right. Take these guys out, and we're just going to make everything look nice and pretty. And a lot of this detailing I can do on my own as well, but we're so close to done. I don't want to just jump cut because we've jump cut so many times in this one. Should get rid of that. Perfect. Alrighty. And it's not like perfect. I know that. And there's a couple things I can do, and a couple things I've learned while I was building this just to make it look a little nicer. Now we can add some decorations, some braziers, all right? We learned that one in the last episode, and make it kind of light up. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to finish up by lighting this place to the nines. We're going to make it look nice and pretty, maybe see if we can't do some art stuff, and then we will jump cut, and we will do the final reveal then. And we are back, and we lit this thing up like madness. Now that being said, get out of here. I just realized we forgot to light these bad boys up. So that's what we're going to do here. And so what we did on the other side was we just kind of squared it up to this, because they're about middle of each of these pillars. All right. We get one more here. Probably gonna throw that bad boy right there. All right, we'll leave that dark. Alrighty. Nice. So it looks nice and fresh. We got a nice little light system going on here. We're gonna. Oh, I keep forgetting that that's also one of the hotkeys for the in-video shadow play. So we have the water. We're living the dream. We got it lit up. It's nice and beautiful here, and it's got some amazing structure to it. I'm loving the pillars, and I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section down below. I know this one's a little bit longer, but I'm going to do my best to kind of trim this one up as much as I can, and a lot of the building was done off camera, so a lot of it comes down to the reveals. But that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me in today's episode. It was a blast to have you here. I love doing builds like this. I love hearing your guys' feedback. And also, if you couldn't tell, I went through and I straightened out so that all the wood grains on these were facing the same way. It was driving me a little bonkers. Now, I do have to do that on the outside, but that's something I'm going to do on camera. But remember, liking, commenting, subscribing, great tools for you to get in touch with me. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, what you want to see next. We're going to go ahead and pop back out here. Now, if you aren't a member of this community, please feel free to hit that subscribe button now, as we would love to have you here. We would love to have you interaction. We would love to have you talk in the comment section down below, because it would be a blasty blast, and I love sharing this kind of stuff with you guys. If you are a member of this community, hit the bell notification icon if you haven't already, as that keeps you up to date on what we do on a daily basis. We upload content every single day, excluding weekdays, and we live stream Wednesday. That's right. Did I say weekdays? I think weekends. Okay, we upload Monday through Friday. We live stream 9 to 5 Central Standard Time on Wednesdays. I'm looking to maybe alter some of the stream times there, but we currently do an 8 o'clock. That sunrise was really cool. What a great way to outro. I love you guys, and we will see you next time. Toodles.